We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you another episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody, already in progress.
Slipped it.
Which you slip.
Slipped it to you. The grip.
Oh, I was gonna say, man, we're virtual, so you could have slipped
You
something
didn't feel
by
it?
me. No, not at all. That's what's nice about the virtual. You don't feel it.
You don't smell them either. That's the best thing.
Then there's no proof.
Oh, there's poof.
Oh, well, before we get on to that's why DWDM is preferred over CWDM.
Oh, that's not Dallas Fort Worth.
You don't even know there's no way you'll get it. I mean,
DWDM versus CWDM.
yeah, dense wave division multiplexing over coarse wave division multiplexing.
Well, I got nothing.
It's fiber optic.
Oh, it's fiber. It's okay.
It's fiber, Dave. Come on.
I'm still in Cat. I'm in Cat
way
5.
above you. You're on Cat 5. Well, that's pretty good. That's not bad.
Yeah, 6-degree bend arc. Yeah, that's what we had to do.
Did you do that cabling or something?
No, so I sold Herman Miller Office Systems, and
that's why. I'm like, why would you know bend radius of cable?
Well, because we had to pitch it our stuff's better than yours because we can bend that Cat 5 and not bust it.
Very good. I was impressed.
Our raceways are cool.
Yeah, we hide everything in there. Because most people wouldn't consider the bend radius of anything.
Well, how do you bend?
Peronis, isn't that what that is?
Do you bend to the right? Only your tailor knows. All right, listen.
We're back.
We are back, and this is actually kind of exciting. Do you know what tonight is? First of all, it's Thursday.
Well, I was going to break some news on you too, but go ahead. You do yours, and I'll see if it.
Well, there's a couple things going on. Tonight's Thursday, which means overmorrow is Saturday. And tonight is first of all, season 5, episode 12. So that means
that's where I was going.
60 in the can. When this is over, it'll be 60 in the
can. And I'm sure you got your invite to the management meeting about the renewal.
I did not. But it's consistent. 6 seasons.
I thought for sure
was it a telegram? They said it was going to be a telegram this time.
I got it. Well, I got it. I like
a merry minstrel.
No, a fruit basket kind of thing. What do they call that?
Edibles.
Yeah, I got an edible arrangement sent to me with the invitation.
We want you to sign back up. Have some fruit.
So so you got nothing, huh?
Well, not in that context, no.
Okay. Well, I'll be sure to forward it on to you.
Yeah. Is it a virtual meeting, or are they flying you in like they did last time?
It hasn't been discussed yet.
Okay.
But I'll see. Maybe if plane tickets show up, I'll know.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, I just know the date and time.
We're not privileged to talk about the big network that owns our parent company, right? Are we? Not yet.
No, because I don't want any letters going to the upper management about.
Yeah. Well, the way the market's been going, it's fluid. Who owns us today could be gone tomorrow. But it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just say there's 3 letters involved.
How does that narrow it down? And it's actually there's a 4th letter. It starts with W.
Well, yeah.
Or K.
RP. No.
For the old people in the audience, they know what I'm talking about.
Anyway.
Enough of that
boring
crap.
Today is Thursday. Do you want me to start off, or do you want to share your new idea, or do we want to talk about that?
Well, it's not so much a new idea. I just
you just want to.
Well, I guess it is a new idea. Yeah. So as 90% of you know, me and Dave are
Dave and I.
I like it better with me first. I and Dave are ex-fraternity, not ex-fraternity. We are fraternity brothers, right?
We are Sigma Chi's.
Yes. The Sigma Chi's are not allowed to say they were Sigma Chi's. We are Sigma Chi's. So we are still fraternity brothers. So we've talked about it before, but I do think a lot of fraternities get a bad rap in this day and age for whatever reason. But our chapter might be different from other chapters and how they're run. But in general, I think Sigma Chi is one of the better fraternities out there as far as character goes of its members. And so we'd like to promote that on the show a little bit. And we're looking for members of Sigma Chi who would like to join us on occasion and kind of give their feelings on Sigma Chi, what it did for them and how they benefited from it. And we'll have some fun with it, of course, maybe reminisce a little bit, especially if you're from our chapter Eta Pi at University of Central Florida. But, down at the bottom, I believe right now is the email address where you could hit us up, shoot us an email or leave a comment on the video on your willingness to join the show. Now we can have you go not camera, so you're not on, and we put a fake name on the screen,
like the New Orleans Aints. We'll have to put a brown paper bag.
You wear a bag over your head.
Whatever you want. We're gonna do that. I love that. We'll cut out the little
He was the unknown comic, remember, back in the day?
Yeah, but I think it started with the Aints. The New Orleans Saints fans were the Aints. I'm sorry I interrupted you, but I just
no. I mean, but we'll have some fun with it, and you guys can share your experiences with Sigma Chi, and hopefully we'll kind of promote the fraternity as a whole, and grow this show a little bit in terms of that. But for people who aren't members of Sigma Chi but like the show, we're still going to have fun and cover content of things that occur in our lives throughout the week, each week.
But we agree there's no profit sharing with these guests.
Oh, hell no. No, we're just going to ride their, whatever content they bring. We'll have them sign a waiver.
Probably.
That we can share their likeness and their words and,
we should do that. Else. I mean, we're making so much money. These people probably want a piece of the action.
Yeah.
You got to head that off. We got to think about that. You better talk that through with management.
Yeah, why don't you bring that up in the meeting?
Yeah. I'll bring the boilerplate. That's big fancy words for cooktop.
What?
Boilerplate. You know what that is?
It's what you put a thing of water on, I assume, to make it boil.
No, it's the standard phrase in a contract. It's a reoccurring phrase.
That's quite a dictum you had there. All right.
Yeah, I get your dictum, and I'm on to you. So that's a damn it, I know dictum. Dictum is
word of the week, people. Snuck it in early.
Dictum, you snuck it in.
Yeah. Did you?
I do know what it is, and I can't think of it now. Dictum. It's like a phraseology or something like that. Dictum.
Only men have it, for one.
That's not true.
Well, some people have it added. Sure.
All right. What is it? Hold on.
Oh yeah. Ask the assistant.
Alexa, please define dictum.
Dictum is usually defined as an authoritative pronouncement, judicial assertion. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for dictum.
Alexa, share more definitions for dictum.
From thecontentauthority.com. Dictum is a Latin term that refers to a statement or pronouncement that is considered authoritative or definitive.
I said phraseology.
Yeah, Latin that's the one I was looking for.
Latin 4.
Yeah, helped you out. You obviously.
Dehi mihi bonum caput.
If everybody wants to know what that is, listen to old episodes.
Yeah, if you listen to if you know Dehi mihi bonum caput, please enter that in our notes.
E pluribus unum.
It has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. All right.
It's Latin.
Well, it's been argued.
Well, you know what?
We got a lot of stuff to talk about, so hurry up. What do you got?
Well, I didn't let you finish your trip last week. I realized when I was editing the show, I didn't get you to finish.
Oh, you didn't get the back end.
Yeah, we got you to Pennsylvania. We got when you broke the dog's legs.
I didn't do that.
And that's what I heard.
So it was Hudson. I got the answer for that, by the way.
Oh, did you? So
Hudson is the Springer Spaniel, and Hudson is named for the street in Chicago where their son lives.
Oh.
And I know Hudson very well. It's a beautiful little drive, if you will, right down in the city. So Hudson is named for the street in Chicago, and they call him Huddy because, a couple extra names for a dog makes complete sense.
Yeah, why not?
And the field spaniel, which I kept saying it's a field dog and he's a spaniel, but he's a field spaniel is what his original name is.
Well, we covered that. I know. That. Okay.
His name is Moose, and its origin is a large brown animal that he. Do you have a ghost in your house? What was that?
I saw it too.
Is that a para professional? No, that's not it. Something.
Paralegal?
No. Shoot. Anyway,
Paranormal?
Hudson and Moose. Paranormal, thank you. Moose. Pat Kelly's like, paranormal. Thanks, Pat, for weighing in.
Yeah, we heard you.
What did I say? Hudson and Moose. So
yes.
Beautiful dogs, and apparently they do have a cold. There's something just went by again. They have a cold and wet nose. Okay, so on the way home, so we pick up my daughter and her girlfriend from high school flew up. What a great friend she is. And she flew up to spend the weekend with her and attend graduation. And we drove her home out of obligation. And we told her parents, if we see her, we'll bring her back. So we'll drive her
to the bus station.
Yeah. So we drove her back. We drove all of us back. And so my wife thinks it's a race, apparently, and I let her drive out of this. I pull off before we get to Pittsburgh, before we get to Fort Pitt Tunnel. And I said, look, you drive because I don't want to take the stress of coming through the tunnel and you start screaming at me to turn left or turn right. I'll lose it. So she drives from Fort Pitt Tunnel in. And then we leave the place wherever we are in Beaver Falls or Pittsburgh. She drives out of the city. And so she drove quite a ways, and I don't say anything until she just finally starts careening off the road. And then
she starts nodding off.
Yeah. When you start feeling the bumps. But so we try to find a couple ways to, enjoy ourselves on the way home. So here's what we did. We got the phone out.
Well, the kids are in the car with you, right?
Yeah. They're on.
You really can't enjoy yourself on the way home.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
You said we try to find ways to enjoy ourselves on the way home.
We don't play board games, if that's what you're insinuating.
No, I'm not insinuating that, but go ahead.
I'm 61 years old. That's not happening. Anyway, so Woody. So we get on the what do you call that? The intranet, and turns out Mount Airy, North Carolina, is a place that close to a gas station that we want to come down to lunch and so forth.
Mount Airy is the home of that was the urban place outside of Mayberry.
Pat Kelly.
Mayberry.
Yeah, Mayberry is fashioned, if you will, after Mount Airy.
Okay. And so, he was from there, right?
Andy Griffith?
Yes. Thank you.
I don't know because we didn't spend a lot of time there.
All right. Well, sorry to interrupt. I was just adding some history to you.
In fact, on the post you saw, those are all photos from the internet. One of them's even one of
really? I thought it was you in there.
It's got the watermarks in it. And so yeah, well, Sheila pissed me off because I really wanted to explore the town, but it infringed on her speed racing to get home. And so I'm like, if I'm going to
She's in the Gumball Rally, Dave. She didn't have time to
it's like, see. Punch it. Aunt Bee's dead and Gomer's dead. So I got to tell you, though, it ain't what it used to be. The gas station, Wally's, Willie's, whatever it is there. And I think the courthouse building is there, but that show was probably in the late 50s and 60s.
Yes.
And a lot of time has passed since
then.
And a lot of people aren't really keen on the show anymore. So it must have been pretty popping in the 70s and 80s when people were out on the road. But it's not quite what it used to be. So when we came through, I was like, this is kind of depressing. I really was hoping for more. Apparently there's an Andy Griffith Museum. It was a Sunday, which we didn't, do. We ended up going to some Red Rooster place for lunch. It was horrible. But Mount Airy, it is a beautiful part of North Carolina, and it's probably worth exploring with some more time and not Sheila with me in the car. But we did find a fun nugget on the way home. We were in Florida.
Oh, this was in Florida.
Yeah, the little church.
All right. Did you come through Charlotte again and forget to wave?
I think we were all flicking birds on the way out through Charlotte. No, we did go through Charlotte. Of course we did.
Yeah.
It's the
Thanks for
same
saying
path.
hello, man. Twice.
Well, I think I might have been asleep or something. But anyway,
well, to be honest with you, I was probably in Ireland. So
no, you were in Ireland. That's exactly right.
Oh, that's why you didn't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're coming down Florida. We crossed the state line, and turns out the smallest church in America has got a roadside space. And so we're like, well, we got to go see that. And I'm thinking, like my dad for Christmas, he built this little church that became our dog's dog house later on. I was thinking it's going to be that scale, but it was probably 10 foot by 14, I don't know, 10 by 12 or something like that. What would have done? And it was concrete block. It's actually kind of cool. It's on my Facebook page. You saw it, but it's America's.
I'll post a picture. Yeah.
Yeah, you can Google it, look it up. America's smallest church, and I guess it's somewhat certified. Some lady had some extra money, and she wanted a place where people could pull off on the roadside and worship, pray, take a breather.
So it's non-denominational.
Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't hold regular services or anything of any nature.
I think it did at one time. I'd have to look at the notes again. I think that someone did use it like on a Saturday, Sunday morning deal. But the doors are open. The lights come on. It's got a little box that you can stuff. We stuffed some money in the box. It's got a
couple bits.
Yeah, I think we put in 10, 15 bucks. I don't know.
Wow, aren't you rich?
People. Well, you got to give back, right?
So I would assume it's a wedding spot for people. No,
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, it's got a kind of a dirt park. We pulled in. There was a fifth wheel pulled in the parking. It's not even a parking lot. Right. Don't get overexcited about it. It's worth checking the box.
So I shouldn't drive down to see it.
No, if you're coming down and you've got it's literally right off the highway. So you jump off at 95, you head over to 17, and you can pop over to the church and be back on the raceway by not 10 minutes.
It's 77 this is, or is it 77? 26?
No, it's on 17. 10? It's well into Florida. It's across the Florida line. So you're on 95 South, and there's an exit that takes you over to Highway 17, which is a state highway.
Gotcha.
No, it's cute. It was fun. It was kind of like the big ball of twine, or the big iron skillet kind of thing.
My mom and my stepfather drove around the country a few years ago, and they tried to hit numerous of those type things along the way. They drove basically across I-10 from San Diego, then up 95, and then I forget what the northern route is. 40 maybe, or 20? I don't know which one. Back across the United States and then back down to San Diego. They did it over like a 2 or 3 month period. So,
well, it's interesting to our listeners. If you've ever been there, weigh in. Say, hey, I've been there before, because there's a guest book that we signed, and we didn't have enough time to look at everyone's name because my wife was like, "Wait, chop, chop, we got to go."
Do you put down like a Sigma Chi founder's name? Runkle?
No. I was going to make up someone's name, but then I felt like it would be childish.
Ted Nugent. That's always the go-to.
Ted was here.
Yeah, something like that. That'd be good. Speaking of famous churches, recently, I think it was Frank Lloyd Wright's son. I don't know. He designed a chapel out in outside of L.A., Rancho Palos Verdes, a glass.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and that actually, I have a memory, and I can't remember. I've been to it, absolutely been to it. But I think, my grandmother was a Presbyterian minister out there.
Really?
Yeah, out there in California.
Huh.
And I, for some reason, have a vague memory of her holding a service in that chapel.
Wow.
And it's in the news recently because they're going to have to dismantle it because of a
earthquake.
The land is breaking away from that area, landslide kind of thing, and probably due to earthquakes. Who knows? So they're going to dismantle it and either put it somewhere else or fix the ground in that area and reassemble it, because it is I don't know if it's a national landmark or not.
Yeah. Architectural something.
So that just reminded me of that when you talked about the
they could move it down to Florida and put it right next to the smallest church.
Yeah, two for one. And there you go.
House full of glass and a tiny church.
So yeah.
A Presbyterian minister. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, she did that when my grandfather was a newspaper in the newspaper biz, and they lived in New Jersey, and she wanted to become a minister, and he wanted to get I think he was writing for either the Newark News or the Times at that point in time up in the Jersey, New York area. And they wanted to move. So they said, all right, whoever finds a job first will go there. Well, she got hired onto a church in Rancho Palos Verdes. And so that's where they moved. Then
was he ordained, or she just?
Yeah, no, she was. She, full thing. She, over the years, has presided over my wedding, my brother's wedding, almost all her grandchildren's weddings.
She was your officiant?
Not technically, because I got married. At the time, my wife was Catholic. I got married in the Catholic Church.
Okay,
but the priest was kind enough to allow her to wear her vestments and be on the altar and say a few words. So he was open to that, and so she was
ecumenicism.
Yes, so she was able to, be involved in mine, and of course, she officiated my brother's and my father's second marriage, and so forth and so on. So,
well, all right, well, something I didn't know. How about that?
You learn it every day.
Okay, my brother is well, it doesn't matter.
Is he?
He's a bastard. Anyways,
that's an oxymoron. My brother, the bastard.
Oh, my dad died. He never knew who his dad was. Just kidding.
I just lost. It's your mom. Anyhow,
right.
Are you done with your trip?
Did I get us home?
Yeah. Well, you got to the smallest church, and then Sheila pushed you in the car and told you.
Yeah, I think I drove on the way home, and I don't think anything monumentally happened after that. Okay. We arrived safely.
That's always important.
Yeah, she's always complaining about how slow I drive, but mind you, 2 weeks after we get home, she gets a speeding ticket.
Oh,
so I'm like, I don't know, honey. I'm the old man that drives slow in the left lane. That's right, I'm one of those guys.
Oh no, you are?
No, not anymore. I've surrendered, and she gets a speeding ticket. So there.
Oh, first, second?
No, I'm sure it's countless. I don't know, numerous.
Really? Wow, I hope you have good insurance.
She's got a lead foot. She takes the classes. I said you couldn't start crying or
well, you can only do so many. You can only do so many classes, though. They limit you.
This is her third name change. So
oh, that makes more sense. Okay. Well, I forgot one mega important part of my trip.
Yeah, please.
That should help our ratings.
Oh boy.
I ran across. You're gonna have to forgive me if you hear background noise of a dog going berserko, because my little corgi is getting
chewing gum.
Well, I can hear in the background she was barking, going crazy on the other dog. So my wife put her out in the room behind me, and she's scratching to get back in the other room. So we'll see what happens. But when we were at one of the castles, we walked in, and outside the castle, there were two guys. There was a blacksmith doing demonstrations out there. And there was also a guy, I forget the name of the device, but you put a piece of wood in it, and then you draw back with a draw knife to whittle. It's kind of whittling in a fancy form, but I don't know what the device is they use.
It's the thing they sit on, and it's got a vice to it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You use your foot to vice the wood down. And my eldest son walked by and he goes, man, that guy looks familiar. And so we went through the castle, and he kind of dawned on him who he was. He's a big time YouTuber out there. So I'm going to put his name, as a mention in the show. He's got 1 million followers. His name is Ian Reardon.
I thought you were going to say it's the guy from This Old House.
No, I wish. I met him once, actually, Norm Abram.
Yeah.
But this cat's name is Ian Reardon, but his name is spelled Eoin.
Wait a minute. So he's got a gig where he whittles at one of these. By the way, it's castle. We Americans say castle, but it's castle.
Yeah, it's well, then that's how it's pronounced. It's castle.
Yeah. So he's got a gig where he's employed by one of these castles to whittle.
Yeah, he's a, I guess, professional whittler. I don't know.
No, he's a woodworker. We'll call him a woodworker.
Yeah,
we'll elevate him a little bit.
And he's done it for years and has a YouTube channel, and all that. And he was recently hired by this castle to
make some dowels.
Yeah, make candles, hats, and stuff for whatever the blacksmith is making next door. He makes a handle for it.
So did your son approach him and tell him?
Yep. Said
is
hello.
He a subscriber?
He is. Yep. And what I should have done, which I should have gone back and taken a selfie with the guy, so we could have gotten some crossover, some crossover, at least one episode of crossover. When
well, your name's Woody. I mean, come on.
You're right. See, there's even more play into that.
We whittle the wood with what's his name?
Ian.
Yeah,
so I should have taken a selfie. We could have posted. I could have gotten some crossover.
Get us on a plane and get back over.
I know. I feel horrible that I didn't put two and two together while I was sitting there. But at the very least, I'm going to put a mention on the YouTube video, which is going to be late this week, Dave.
Late.
Because
Why?
I'm leaving tomorrow.
Where are you going?
To Tennessee.
To the lake?
Yeah. And I don't think I have a way of editing outside of my desktop machine here in Mac.
Okay, let's make a little note here for our listeners. See, when Woody says he's going to the lake and he doesn't have software editing or internet service, what he's saying is, I'm going to be steamed the whole time because
no, because
it's Memorial Day weekend and I'm going to be pounding the
Yes,
salt.
it is a race fans premiere Sunday of the year.
And at the lake?
Yeah, well, no, Memorial Weekend Sunday
on the big screen.
Yeah, because you wake up early and
Make
you can
yourself a cocktail.
I don't know if they moved it back this year or not, but the Monaco Grand Prix is typically on Sunday morning.
Is that a what's that champagne and orange juice?
Mimosa.
Is that a mimosa for you or is that a bloody?
That's I try not to drink because I think my family would really start to question my
the habit.
I
think
hobby. It would be turned into some problem at that point.
Hey, Dad's on the side.
Yeah, Mom, Dad's drinking champagne.
Juice, kids, that's good for you.
Yes, it's vitamin C. Shut up already. And then that
rat scallions. I'm doing it.
And then that bleeds into the grandiose, the best race of the year for me personally, the Indy 500.
Oh, I left my heart in Indiana, whatever that is. I was talking to someone about that the other day.
We had it on the show, Goofball.
No, I know, but there's someone I work with that is from Indianapolis.
Speaking of, why we did the tie-in, Dave, Mount Airy, Jim Neighbors, Gomer. He used to sing back home in Indiana.
Yeah, that's it.
I left my heart in San Francisco, dude.
The streets of San Francisco, yeah.
No.
Oh. All right, so do you pack it in to Tennessee or do you get a place you go to? The goods, you know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
Come on.
What are we talking about?
When you go to Tennessee to the lake, do you have like, does the delivery service bring the hooch or do you pack it in or do you got a place down there in the hills? You got some guy on the back porch
are we talking about moonshine, Dave?
No, just whatever your beverage is.
Oh, no, I have some. I keep a cabinet at the facilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you insinuating something I'm not picking up on?
No, you're not picking up what I'm laying down?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm like,
I'm just saying it's a big weekend. And
yeah.
Like that. Have you ever seen that movie Leaving Las Vegas? It's disgusting. terrible. This is terrible because I'm sure there's a couple alcoholics out there that listen to
Well,
us.
it's not leaving Las Vegas. It's.
Staying.
Are you talking about the one with Nick Cage?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not leaving, is it?
I think it is. Or dying in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I thought it was dying.
The guy carried around booze in a luggage.
Yeah, he was going to drink himself to death. Was the premise of the yeah, I guess he did. Yeah.
In the end, we're not advocating that, by the way, kids. Kids in the back of the room. By no means are we advocating that. I'm just saying, it's Memorial Day weekend. We're going to take some time off, and Woody enjoys the races. He won't be driving in one, right?
No, I wish. Good Lord,
you can't do that. And
why not?
Well, I guess they have all those bars inside. And
yeah, I mean, come on, it's safer than driving my car down the street.
220 miles per hour.
They qualified, this year at 224 at Indy.
Yeah, one loose screw and that front end goes flying.
I know. So so the Indy 500, that's a good one to watch, and then that rolls into the Charlotte 600, which unfortunately I'm out of town for because I would probably go to it.
But it's not on the bricks.
No, it's here in Charlotte. So that's why it's called the Charlotte 600.
Oh. Is it a Concord?
Kind of gives away where it's located. Yeah. So that's
it's really not in Charlotte. It's in Concord.
To be technically yes, but literally where I park is in Charlotte, and then I walk across the street.
Spot. You have to
I walk across the street to the track, which is in Concord. So it is literally that close to the Charlotte boundary. But interesting bit of news. Kyle Larson is going to attempt the double this year.
Is that race at Indy and then jump over to Charlotte?
Yep. So you do 1,100 miles if you finish both, which I think the only person to finish both races is Tony Stewart.
Smoke?
Yes. And very good. Good pull there, Dave. Why do you know his nickname?
He got in a big punch up one time, didn't he?
A bunch of times.
Yeah. I like him.
Okay.
I like Smoke too. That's kind of a cool name.
Yeah. So Kyle Larson qualified 5th, I think, for the 500, but his plans may be thwarted to pull the double.
Thwarted, Daily Devil. Is that a word for the week? Word of the week? Thwarted?
Thwarted? No, come on.
That's a level 2 word.
Right. I assume if I know the word, everybody else does at that point.
That's not a dictum.
No, not at all.
Okay. Smoke.
Do you know why? Do you know why his plans may be thwarted?
The crew can't get there. I don't know.
Apparently, Mr. Donald Trump is going to make an appearance at the 600, and because he is the presumed Republican nominee, he is afforded that level of protection going, through the election. So the airspace is frozen, during his time in and out and all that, and that may prevent Kyle Larson from getting from the 500 to the 600 in time for him to race the 600. So I'm hoping Trump will bow out or do something that allows the racer to be able. It's a much bigger event than.
Well, as fast as that guy drives, put him on the highway.
Yeah, right. Well, unfortunately, traffic around the racetracks is quite tight, and he'd have to helicopter in. So I'm hoping.
Would he fly a helicopter from Indianapolis to Charlotte?
No. They'll fly a helicopter out of the track to the airport. Yeah, and then get on a jet to Concord, and then take a helicopter into there. So I'm hoping they'll
call.
Yeah, well, why don't you?
I'll give Don a call. Let him know
if you would. You live in his state. Maybe have his number.
Yeah.
If you could call him, and say, "Listen, man, I appreciate the fact you want to go and campaign at the track, but there's something a little bit larger happening because the double is quite."
He might be hearing this show today, and we put it up tonight, and he may say, "Hey guys, listen, this would be a big hit to bring this guy in. Put him on the Trump plane."
There you go. That's even better. Just have the plane. Yeah, have his helicopter, not Air Force One, I guess not. His helicopter at Concord. Wait for Larson to get there, and then both come in at the same time.
I'm going to put that out there on the interweb.
That is an interesting
Pull in
conundrum.
that NASCAR vote.
Yeah. Well, I think he's
I
already
like
got
it.
that, but
Well, he doesn't have yours, so we have
no,
to work on that.
definitely doesn't have that.
All right, but that's it. Well, you tied it together. You got a little stock car racing. They don't call it that anymore. Stock car racing and Indy class.
Right. And you kind of Smoke, he said he got in a couple hubbubs over his time.
Toughs, whatever we call them.
Right.
Yeah, how I know that stuff was when I worked in the furniture business. I was traveling all the time. I was 40 weeks a year. I was all over the state, and so the first thing in the morning, I watched that ESPN. It did
Sports
like
Center.
8. Yeah, but it was an 8-minute update, like on the hour.
Okay.
And so my theory was I could watch every one of those in the morning. I'd catch one in the evening or whatever. And it was a smattering of sports where I could get enough information to have a conversation with someone. And they're like, hey, that guy's he's a man's man. I like that guy.
Yeah.
He knows his stuff.
Or if they don't like Tony Stewart, you can say, yeah, he's a real jerk.
Yeah, he was Home Depot too, wasn't he? At one time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, I know my stuff.
Joe Gibbs Racing till he bought his own race team.
Yeah, and Joe and I are friends.
Get out of here.
Well, I met Joe. His attorney friend represented me in something a long time ago.
Oh.
Yeah, he came to my church, and the guy goes, Dave, I want you to meet a friend of mine. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So I go over there, and of course, back then, the Redskins were Super Bowl champs.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
still. Oh, you mean they were that year you met him?
Yeah, it was in that era. He was in race. He was kind of getting into racing, but he was still a Super Bowl guy, a coach.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, is that Joe Gibbs? He goes, yeah. I'm like, coach? About wet myself. But yeah,
can you still hook us up with that? Because that'd be sweet to get in the pits. You can go up to Charlotte and we'll go hang out at a racetrack.
With Joe? We'll go chill around with how old? He must be like 90 by now or something.
I don't know, but his grandson races now.
I don't think he'd remember me.
Really?
Well, those guys are famous for remembering everything they do, but like when Coach Bowden and I ran into each other years after my time with him.
Right.
I had to give him a couple seed plants, then he remembered me.
Okay. Well, do the same. Get with your buddy that's friends with Joe Gibbs and say, listen.
I wouldn't even know who to call. That guy's dead, by the way. The guy.
I hear all I hear you saying is, I don't want to try. And that's a pretty lame excuse.
No, it's not that I don't want to try. I just know my probabilities.
Okay.
What I'm saying is I don't want to waste my time.
Yeah, exactly.
Has nothing to do with me wanting to try or not.
But I was trying to get back to your comment about smoking. There was a fight at last weekend's race.
Smoke wasn't in it, was he?
No, but it was Kyle Busch, who most people don't like, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Is Busch the people? Are the people still bumping the Busch when they're racing?
Yes, and that's what happened. But it wasn't.
Apparently, he doesn't like it when you bump the Busch.
Well, it wasn't Stenhouse's fault, but so
that's what they all say.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
I slipped.
He got pushed into him, and but Kyle Busch drove him into the wall on the next turn, and it was only 8 laps in, so the entire guy's night was over.
Into him.
Yeah, it was awful.
Number one,
but
in the gay bar, right?
As I'm gonna ignore that. Yeah, as Dale Earnhardt Jr. said, it was a small Wilkesboro track they used for the All-Star race. Well, it's so small, there's no tunnels out of the infield.
There's not even pit stops. It's just
there's
is it an oval?
Stop. Yeah, it used to be a regular track on the circuit, but there's no tunnels out. So Stenhouse,
how do you get in? You fly in the car.
They open the track. You drive over the track and in. You've never done that before?
What are these, antelope or something? How do you? No, I've never.
They open the wall up. They open a section of the racing wall up, and you can drive in.
Do they screw it back together? How do they get it back together?
Yeah.
Never seen.
All tracks have that. It's just the tunnel. You can go in and out during.
I've only been to. Sadly, I've only been to one track, and it's Daytona, and I've been through the tunnel.
Oh, okay. Well, the semis can't get through that tunnel.
Yeah, I know. There's got to be some way they get in there.
Right.
How they do it? They open the track up.
Yeah, and they drive across. So Stenhouse couldn't leave. Here he was, put into the wall on the 8th lap, a good 3 hours before the end of the race, and he's fuming the whole time. So, he's in his street clothes by the time the race is over. Kyle Busch pulls in the pits, and he goes up and confronts him. And I thought he was just he was going to give him, the usual
tongue lashing.
Yeah, tongue lashing, and Kyle Busch with tongue. And just out of nowhere, he cold cocked Busch right in the face with a right hook, man. It was,
and of course they hit him with helmets too. Don't I've seen those guys?
Well, they throw helmets at the cars. They're not dumb enough to throw a helmet at a person. That would be you could get arrested for that, I assume. Like that hockey player who drilled some guy in the head with his hockey stick, got arrested afterwards. So anyhow,
okay.
It was quite exciting. You were talking about that, and
God bless America.
I thought that was it was fun. I fell asleep before the end of that race, but it's the All-Star race. It's a non-points race.
So you're really looking forward to Memorial Day.
Yes. Long story. You're very 20 minutes into 10 seconds. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching racing.
All right.
Well, not Memorial Day, the day before Memorial Day.
I know. I think, and this will be the last thing we talk about this, I think I have fond memories of Memorial Day tying it back to Indianapolis because I don't know, I guess it was because of the weekend. My father, I've told the story before, he didn't know how to fish. And so the thing that we really connected on when I was about 16, 17, all the way up to about 20 years old was he came to me one day and said, I was quite a fisherman. And he said, Dave, I'd really like to learn how to fish. I'm like, you don't know how to fish? And so, which was, kind of a reverse. Your dad teaches you usually how to fish. But we had a camper. And I said, okay, Dad, let's go to Sebastian Inlet down on the way to Melbourne. And we'd get in the camper and we started making lures.
That's another name of a gay bar, Dave.
Sebastian Inlet?
Yeah.
It's rough. Anyway, they like it rough down there. That is a funny story down there too, but we'll save that for another time. But anyway, it was always on Memorial Day weekend, and someone had the radio on listening to the race while we were under the bridge.
That was the only way to take part of it because they tape delayed it back in those days.
Yeah, that was good times. So good memories with my dad.
Did you catch anything?
Oh yeah, we caught a lot of fish. Anyway, all right. So I got a couple kind of grumpy old men things.
Fists at the clouds.
Right. It just came over me today. First of all, school's out pretty soon. Not yet.
Oh, pretty soon.
Yeah. So we have one more full day tomorrow, and then we take Memorial Day weekend. So we got a long weekend ahead of us, which is a celebratory moment. I'll be ginning up on cigars while you're splashing back the
ginning up on gin.
I don't do gin. That's
I
have rubbing alcohol in the bathroom. It's about the same.
Yeah, I every once in a while I keep it in my cabinet, and every once in a while I'll partake of a gin and tonic, and the botanicals just suck the moisture out of you. By the next morning, you're like a cotton ball.
I think you got to be a professional to drink gin. When we were members at the yacht club, there'd be these ladies bellying up to the bar, and as soon as they open their mouth, they'd say, "Gin." I'm like, wow. I'd look at the bartender.
Just straight gin?
Oh, they would gin rocks, gin soda. Ugh. I'm like, wait, isopropyl alcohol. Isn't that about the same thing?
Real quick.
Yeah.
Do you say Happy Memorial Day?
No, that's an insult. Memorial Day.
That's why. What do you say? What are you supposed to say?
I don't.
You don't know, do you?
I say, it's called something else. Memorial Day was the day they went out and tended the gravestones.
Right. I used to go out with my uncle and do the flags on the tomb headstones.
Alexa, what is the original celebration?
As a noun.
Okay.
1. A primary form or type from which varieties
Alexa,
are derived.
Stop. You're going to have to give me a second to get it out. All right.
She doesn't give you 2 seconds.
Like quick draw here. Alexa, what is the origin of Memorial Day?
The first Memorial Day was celebrated in Waterloo, New York on May 5, 1866. By 1890, All of the northern states recognized it as an official state holiday. Many southern states continued to honor their dead on separate days until after World War I, when the holiday was changed from honoring those who died fighting in the Civil War to honoring Americans who died fighting in any war.
Yeah. So I grew up in a household of Civil War folks from Vicksburg. And
I thought you were going to say participants.
Well, strangely enough, my mother was an only child, and her grandfather fought in the war.
Which side?
Vicksburg, Mississippi. Come on.
Well, he could have defected.
In the South. Yeah, he was a traitor. They kept him in the basement. But he lived with them.
He built the train.
She knew him, and he was a Civil War veteran. But remember the dead. And I can remember as a child, I had to go to Vicksburg every year during the summer till I was about 13 years old. And we would go to Cedar Hills Cemetery. It's interesting because that's where my mother is laid to rest now. And, you can go on the web and do a search. This is crazy. Last night I was playing around. I looked up my dad's name, and it pulls up his obituary. And then it says there's a site called Find a Grave. And it has a link to it. And then I click on it. It shows me his gravestone. He's over in Bushnell, Florida, in the military yard. And then it shows, it's like a family tree. It shows their relatives. And so it shows my mom's a picture of the gravestone.
Wow.
It's amazing. And then it shows her father and mother and my brother. I have a brother that died at birth. He's buried in the same plot. And it's just, the internet's a pretty cool thing. So I have not seen
the internet,
the interweb, whatever it's called, on the line.
I'll give it a try.
Anyway, so how did I get on this? So remember the dead. So we would go to Vicksburg and spruce up the graveyard on the markers for the Civil War guys. That's kind of how I got the use of it. And so it really wasn't a celebratory weekend. I don't like it when everyone gets into the burgers and hot dogs and the let's go swimming. I think we should remember.
What are you supposed to do on Memorial Day?
Well, you should have a sense of what happened. I think if you ask 10 people on this, do this at work tomorrow.
Okay.
Ask them what is your sense of what is Memorial Day?
I bet you everybody knows what it's for.
Well, we have a small town, our county seat, that's doing Memorial Day Riverfest. And
so they're celebrating with a festival.
Yeah, they'll be a flyover or something. They'll drop some corpse out or something. I don't know what they'll do, but I don't know what's going on.
Remember the dead.
This one died.
There's one. Yeah, because the race.
Look at us. Obviously. We're not even very sacred. God.
Oh, come on now.
No,
of course we are.
I think we should. Veterans Day is for those that are still with us, and a veteran could be someone who's passed as well. But Memorial Day, we need to be
mindful.
Mindful. I got to be careful because our kids today, we say the pledge every morning in class, and I don't know. Let's not do that because I'll get in trouble.
Yeah, you will. From me.
Hey, all right. So, what was I talking about? So, school's out. So, we're doing Friday, and then we're taking Memorial Day off, and then we come back Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, half days. I'm not really sure why we do that, but it's okay. I think we give finals. I'm not a core class curriculum, so I kind of have a final, but I'm not giving a final. So then Thursday is our last day of school. We wave goodbye to the kiddos. And then Friday, we have a teacher planning day where we've got to come back and clean out our desk. And I got a checklist I got to work on this week. So I'm really looking forward to it.
You got to clean the gum from under the desk?
No, I kind of do that along the way, and it saves me money. I don't have to buy gum. I just chop it off.
Yeah, you had a good idea. What's the best flavor so far?
I like the banana. Sometimes I get some banana, but watermelon's always a big hit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so school's out on Friday week. Tomorrow's our last full Friday, which is you start doing these week of lasts. All right, so we'll move on from that. So tonight, I left school and went to Winn-Dixie, the formerly known as the Beef People, and now it's going to be Hoigido, was los, wie geht's es Ihnen? Anyway, so
you know more German than you do Latin.
It's my brother calling me.
Are you going to take that in the middle?
No, I'm not. All right, he's got me sidetracked. So I go to Winn-Dixie. I'm at the checkout lane. By the way, I got the Mexicana dip. I'm on
Wait,
fire.
that's not your dead brother calling, is it?
No.
Oh, good.
This one could be next. So
well, anybody could be next
if he keeps it up. So let me get this story out.
I'm sorry.
So there's these two girls. One's a cashier, and one's bagging, obviously, and they're not talking to me. I'm in line. You know, I'm the customer. I'm playing the customer.
Right.
They're playing like cashier and bag person, and they're in this whole conversation. I just happen to be there, and so I'm doing my little things where I'm plugging in my numbers that I'm supposed to do to get my discount. And the one girl goes, she's telling her story about how her grandfather is blind in one eye and deaf in one ear, and how it's somewhat comedic when her grandfather and grandmother get together because they fail to communicate with one another, and it's kind of fun to watch.
All right.
And so I'm kind of like,
this is interesting. Yeah, this is your.
I'm listening.
You're like, hold on, ladies. Let me turn my head this way. So
I almost said what? I was going to say what? Because, you can't go wrong with that joke.
I can't see you.
If someone says a deaf thing, you always go what? But I didn't want to do it because I was kind of tired. And so then the girl says, well, I have a character that is totally blind. And so
what? She has a what?
She has a character. So
what's that even mean?
Okay, so now we're on the same page. So she goes, I have a character that's totally blind. And so I'm thinking, what she's saying is, I know this character, a funny guy.
No way.
That's not what she's saying, because that's not the context. And so the other girl goes, well, that's cool. I have a character who's totally deaf, and he's a wizard. That should be a clue.
And they're using the wrong word, I think, but
hold on. And so the one girl, the cashier, goes, you should join my campaign. Is that a better word?
No.
I don't know. And so I look up at both of them, and I literally, I go, what the hell are you guys talking about?
In a fun way, I hope. Not like you talked in a McDonald's cashier that I witnessed.
It could go that way, but I was too tired. So I just think, what the hell are you guys talking about? Because they have yet to say, thank you for shopping at Winn-Dixie. Hello.
Right. They're out of a job in a couple of weeks, man.
Well, I don't care. So now they stop in their tracks, like, oh my God, there's actually a body standing there talking to us. And they go, oh, we're talking about Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh.
And for a split moment, I almost was going to go into this diatribe, and then I just caught myself. I thought of you, actually, in these moments of McDonald's and, what an old grumpy old man might do. And I said, oh, that sounds entertaining. Can I get my receipt? So I did one of those things like, I'm still the customer here. This is a relationship that we're having where I'm giving you money to provide.
You're an old guy.
So that happens to me. Hold on. That happens to me. And on the way out the door, I started to think to myself, here's what I wrote down. What age do you become an old waste of breath? When is the crossover?
Well, it's gotta be for me, probably 12. But according to my older brother, I was a waste at that young age. Obviously it's perspective, Dave, but I get where you're going with this. I don't know how to answer that.
Well, so for those of you that don't know in the listening audience, I don't want to keep pushing myself down the road, but I'll be 61 in September. So I'm 60. And I can remember turning 50, of course, in my 40s. And I can remember being looked upon in my late 40s as someone kind of a mover and shaker. This guy's got it going on. He knows what's going on. He's happening. He's a professional. And then I got to my 50s.
Before they knew you, though, right?
Yeah, before I said too much stuff. And so then I got to my 50s, and they were like, this guy's wise. He's got some stuff under his belt. He's wise. He's someone trustworthy. We want to seek him out for guidance and information. He's someone that we should listen to. And now I'm checking people out at the grocery store. I'm checking out, and I'm not doing the grocery stuff, but I'm in the line, and these kids are talking Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not even in the space with them. It's just I'm just wasting their time.
You could have joined in. You know what Dungeons and Dragons is, though. I mean, he was even around the occult. Get out of here.
I didn't want, Lucifer to come out after me. So at what age do you become this guy that's like, "Ugh, you're just an old man. Get out of my space."
I don't think it's you or me, the person. I think it's you go through phases as I'm thinking back to my younger days, right? Up until about the age to my late 20s. Anytime someone older than me was trying to give me advice on anything but uh sports betting, anything life lessons or anything like those lines, I was always like, shut up. What do whatever. You're just, and then when you get into your late 20s, you start to go, oh my God, all that stuff that was being told to me is coming true. Like these people do something.
I should have listened to that guy.
Yeah, I should have made another point. And so and then when you get in your 30s and 40s, you're really intent on listening to those older than you, right? And then when you get into your 50, the 50s and 60s, and I'm talking career wise, right? So, later in life, maybe a little different. I think that you're at that point in age that the majority of people are younger than you, and you're like, what the hell do you know? So you turn it back around to what the hell do you know about it? I've been doing this for 30 years. You can't tell me what to do. And so I reflected those kids probably are at that age that anybody above them is whatever. You do your thing, I'll do my thing. I was a cashier / bag boy in my Winn-Dixie days, and I had conversations with the cashier, especially if she was cute. Definitely had.
Well, these people didn't fit that.
Well, you don't know.
They weren't cute to me.
Well,
they had Dungeon and Dragon looks about them.
All right. Well, they had something in common.
So
there you go.
No, they were clearly involved in their own space, and they were having a good time. This isn't a commentary about me bashing them so much as it was when did the timing, the evolution of the aged come to a point where I still get hung up on customer service. I don't know if you saw this on the Twitter feed, but apparently the Western Tennessee University was taking a flight on Delta this week, and the boys golf team, the men's golf team, was flying somewhere on Delta, and they're looking out the window, and the ramp crew is just tossing their team bags.
I've seen stuff like that before.
I mean, they're just hurling. I could just see pings and Titleist and all this stuff. And then they're in those fly bags, so they're not the hard ones.
Right.
They're clearly, they're more than just a travel bag.
Well, maybe he was for the rival university.
Dude, they were tossing these things, and you could see them landing on the top of the club.
Right.
And so I'm like, at what point, Mr. Delta leadership, I mean, whom do you serve?
My guess is, I don't mean to crap on your story, Dave, but my guess is they don't even work for Delta. They're probably, most of these airlines now hire a third party,
like a contracted.
Yeah, they farm it out, and then that contractor goes obviously for the cheapest employee they can find. So they, once they sign the dotted line with Delta, it's all about saving as much money as they can.
Well, there may be some truth to that, but it just was painful. I mean, these poor guys.
I witnessed that once, and this was before cell phone cameras and all that.
I would have been really close to getting up and walk down the ramp to the captain and said something, but then today's flying space, they'd be like, okay, Mr. Marshall, this guy is the guy we got to get off the plane.
Right.
So I don't, that's why I don't.
That is a funny thing, but yeah, we got to wrap this up because tonight. Yeah, it is time, and the reason we started early, as I told you, is so my family can get out before the sun sets and count the amount of cars that are parked illegally in the neighborhood tonight. So we don't like to do it at night.
Okay, so real quick, what constitutes, is it an illegal direction they're facing? Like
no, I mean, we don't get silly about it, but there are
no, the premise is already silly, the fact that you're doing it. So let's get past that. So what designates an illegal parking?
If I don't do this, then people just start parking in their front yards.
Yeah, but do you confront them or do you just tally a list?
Oh, we tally a list,
Did
and
they ever know that you're the one out there?
oh
doing it?
yeah, I leave a ticket on their car.
Do you carry some sort of weapon or a club?
No,
Okay.
that's not necessary, Dave. They come at me, I'm all about it, man. Bring it on.
Clipboard in hand.
Yep. Clipboard right to the throat.
It's one of these numbers. Oh, you want a double? I got you down, Mr. Smith, for yet another ticket.
No, we're just looking for people that should be in their driveway or the garage. Oh, by the way, speaking, I don't want to get. I gotta remember this story. I meant to write it down. Someone painted something to look. We said you should paint your garage door to look.
The boat. Was it the boat one?
Was it? What'd he do?
So I know there was a guy here in town that did it. I don't know. So they got in trouble by the code enforcement for having his boat in the driveway.
Yes.
And the code enforcement guys, you need to put it behind a fence.
Yes,
He put up a wood fence and painted the boat. I'm like, wait a minute, there's no fence. They must be listeners to our show.
Yes, so bully for them.
Bully.
So anyhow, I meant to.
There's other smart asses in the world. Just
yes, I appreciate the effort to piss off those who play by the rules.
See, that's what you get for being late 50s and 60s. You acquire that kind of
sarcasm,
bravado, sarcasm, intellect, dictum, whatever it is. All right. All right,
you turn into a dictum.
Well, I think that's a foregone conclusion. I put us down for 6:40, so I'm sure we're long.
We're right on it. That's why
That's what she said, by the way. All right, so we're going to liven up the show here moving forward, folks. And to you that listened early on to what he said about you Sigma Chi's want to jump on here, let's get a note together.
Yeah, talk about your life, what came of you, maybe any memories you have of Sigma Chi.
Yeah, did the 12-step thing work out for you or not?
Exactly. Did you skip?
Well,
I just skipped the last 5 steps. So,
I just got the hi, my name's Dave. Where's the ice?
You know what? Real quick, we had a introduction at the office the other day, and everybody's saying, "Hi, I'm so and so. I work in this department." I almost went.
Hey, it's for quitters.
I'm Woody, and I've been sober. Oh shit, wrong meeting. But I thought, somebody's an alcoholic in here. Will get freaking bent out of shape that I even made a joke about.
We shouldn't make fun of that. That's terrible.
Well, I'm not making fun of being an alcohol. I just, alcoholic, not an alcohol. Anyhow, time to say goodnight.
All right. Let's see. My name's Danny. I got to tell you that story.
Why? Yeah. Okay.
We can't do it now, but we'll do it. My name's Danny. No, Dave. Sorry.
I'm Woody.
And you've been listening to another fine episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody. Woody and Dave?
Yeah.
Dave and Woody.
Dave and Woody.
All right. Listen to us on Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, like us, and share us on YouTube. And if you can't do that, then what good are you? I mean, we don't need people like you. So just do something nice. Pay it forward, because we're going to have to retire at some point. But anyway. All right. Love you guys. Peace out.